Hello everyone. Today in this session, we are going to discuss about Power BI and how you can use Power BI effectively. So let me start with introducing myself. So my name is Anmol Malvi and currently I'm working as a data analyst in Ad and Analytics with 1.5 year of experience. And I've done my master's degree from School of Data Science and Forecasting, DAVB, and I've also completed my bachelor's in mathematics honors. After it, I've started working as a data analyst, and I've completed Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst certification as well as Microsoft Fabric Analytics Engineer Associate certification. So you can see the it on the screen. You can also do the certifications once you are familiar with the technology. So basically, Microsoft provide these certification to validate the knowledge. And I've also recently became the top problem solving and data visualization voice on LinkedIn. So that's all about me. Now let's move toward the technical part. So first, what are the topics will be covered in this session? So first we will see what is data analytics. Then we will understand about Power BI. Then we will compare Power BI with Tableau, which is the competitor of Power BI in the market. And then we will see some practical demonstration. So let's move toward it. We will begin with one of the famous quote. You might have also heard this. If you torture the data long enough, then it will confess to anything. This is a famous quote said by Ronald Coase. He's a Nobel Prize economist. And what this mean is there is lot of data generation in every field. Every company is getting lot of data every day. So until and unless you ask question to your data, you that wouldn't be useful for anything. So we have to ask as much as question we can to our data, and then it will provide you the hidden insights and it will show you all the trends. We can see it further. So let's begin with introduction to data analytics. So if we talk about the data definition for data analytics, so basically data analytics is the process of analyzing raw data to find trends and answers questions, and it has a broad scope across the fields. And this process includes many different techniques and goals that can shift from industry to industry. So there are some techniques involved in the data analytics field, which are like firstly importing the data from wherever the data has been stored. Then it involves the data transformation because the data sometimes may be noisy, maybe not clean. So data transformation and data cleaning. Then we have to perform some data modeling using some specialized tools. And today in this session, we are going to talk particularly about Power BI. And the importance for the data analytics is the companies or whatever clients are using the want to get insights from the data, then it will help them to take data driven business decision. So this is the main thing behind data analytics. Now let's move toward business intelligence tool. So as we are going to talk about Power BI, so first let's understand what business intelligence tools is. So business intelligence tools are the types of applications or softwares which will collect and process large amount of data from various sources. If you are aware of sources, sometimes the data is live data, sometimes it's stored in the database, sometimes it is in the form of Excel file. So there are various ways where the data will get stored. So we need some tools to interact with the data, to communicate with the data, and to find some hidden insights from that. So these are some business intelligence tools, as you can see on the screen. First is TIPCO, then Power BI, then Click, then Tableau, ThoughtSpot, and there are also many other tools in the market. So we will talk about Power BI. So what is Power BI? So if someone asks you what is Power BI, you can simply answer it as a Power BI is a business intelligence tools which help to analyze the data. And we can also say that Power BI is a collection of component which are like Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. If you are familiar with Excel, then you might have heard these terms. So what Microsoft has done this before 2014, we have Microsoft Excel, and there are some other tools like Microsoft Power Query Editor, Microsoft Power Pivot, Power View, and we have to create reports through it. We have to analyze data through it. So Microsoft has combined all of them together, and they have introduced Microsoft Power BI, and using which we can create interactive reports, dashboards, and we can also analyze our data. So Power BI can also help to clean and transform data and convert that into visual format. So now let me show you how a data will look like into a Excel file. So here is a screenshot in which is there any question?
I guess no, someone unmuted mistakenly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey everyone, just a second, Anmol sir.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to ask something like if there's any question from your end, you can just write it in the chat box, or you can wait till the end so that we can have a doubt session at the last, by the end of the session. So you can keep hold of that, or you can write it in the chat box. Thank you. Please go on.
Okay. So here is a screenshot of data stored into the Excel file. Now let's suppose you are a CEO of a company, or let's say you are running any business and you are getting the data in this form. So what result you will get from this data? You have to analyze it. The right now you can see a limited rows, but that data can be in millions of rows. So it is very difficult to generate an insight if you want to know how a product has been performed, or in which region sales is higher or sales is declining. So getting that result from this type of data format is difficult. So what Power BI will do is it will convert this into a interactive report like this. So now you can see on the screen, we have a screenshot of a Power BI report. You can see the total revenue in the form of a card as well as a line chart. Then there are some bar chart and other visuals. So this is what the main purpose of Power BI is, to transform the data from row and column structure to a visual format so that anyone can understand it easily. So now let's move toward why we should choose Power BI. So there are some points. Firstly, Power BI can connect to many data sources. So as we have discussed earlier too about the data sources, so Power BI gives us facility to connect to lots of data sources. We will see it further. Then it can handle large data. So other thing is it is similar to Excel. So when you interact with Power BI, we will see in further. So the interface of Power BI is very similar to Excel. We get the Power Query Editor. All the features in Excel are available in Power BI. Then there are various deployment options. A lot of visuals are available for creating reports and dashboards. Then there are flexible collaboration. You can collaborate with other team members, or if you want to work together, then you can do it within Power BI. And there are shared data sets so that you can work along with. So these are few points why you should work with Power BI. Now moving toward why these are some points, theoretical points why we should use Power BI. But what is Microsoft Power BI as worth in the market? So this is a Gartner chart. So this is basically in the technical field we use to compare the technologies. So this release the ranking every year. So you can see in the 2014, Microsoft is below Tableau and Click in the leaders format. But in the 2024, this has been launched today, the new Gartner ranking. So you can see Microsoft is leading from every other technology. So from this, we can understand that people are using Power BI and companies are shifting to Power BI from their existing like Tableau and Click. So it's a great opportunity to learn Power BI so that it will be helpful for you in your career. And now moving toward the other section, which is Power BI versus Tableau. So you might have heard that there are two famous tools for data visualization. One is which we are talking about Power BI, and the biggest competitor of Power BI is Tableau. So many people are confused between what should we use. So some basic things are Power BI is very user friendly. You can easily learn it. And here are some points which I have noted down. So in terms of number of functions, Tableau provide 180 plus functions. On the other hand, Power BI provide 1300 plus functions. So what are these functions which we are talking about? When we analyze our data, we need DAX functions to analyze our data. We need to create measures or calculated columns. Like if we want to calculate the total sales, so we should write the formula as sum of the column which contain the data related to sales. So these are the DAX functions which we use. So Power BI is much ahead as of Tableau, as you can see. Then in terms of data visualization, Tableau has 24 default visuals. On the other hand, Power BI has 41 default visuals. And we also have some custom visuals available. So Tableau have 50 plus advanced visuals. On the other hand, Power BI has 500 plus advanced visuals. Now moving toward the data sources. So Tableau has 80 plus connectors, while Power BI has 185 connectors. And for data cleaning, uh, Tableau lacks the default cleaning solution. On the other hand, Power BI contain inbuilt data cleaning with Power Query. And there are some other advanced features too within the Power BI, like web scraping and email integration. Then Power BI is compatible to Microsoft. And then Power BI also provide you the option to interact in the mobile. Power BI app is also available. And when it comes to updates, software updates, so we can say Tableau is like the it can provide the updates every 6 months, but Power BI got update every day. You can say every day there is some new update, some new features are getting added. So it is very helpful to be updated with the recent technologies. And the costing for Power BI is also low as compared to Tableau. So these are some reasons why companies are preferring to move toward Power BI. So that's the comparison for Power BI and Tableau. Now let's move toward the roadmap to develop a report or a dashboard. So when we talk about Power BI, first thing we have to do is install the Power BI. If you also want to install the Power BI, then Danisha will share the link for that with you in the chat section. You can install the Power BI app in your desktop. And after you install the Power BI app, what we have to do first thing, we want to get the data within our uh, desktop app. So there is a feature for importing the data. Once the data is loaded in your report, we want to perform some transformation on our data. Let's say you want to remove some duplicates value, you want to remove some null values. So that all thing we can do in the Power Query editor, which is inbuilt within Power BI. Once that part is done, we can load the data again back into our Power BI desktop. Then we can create the data model relationships. So that thing is called data modeling. Why it's required? Because we want to connect some tables so that it can be later used to filter out data. Once the data modeling part is complete, then we move toward creating our report. So right till now, we have the data in our report. It's transformed and cleaned, and we have also created the data model. So after it, we create visuals, whatever required according to the need. And once the reporting part is done, we move toward publishing the report so that end user can also interact with it. And for that, we use Power BI services where we publish our report and in a workspace, and then later we can share it with clients or end users. And there are various ways for it. We will discuss it further. So this is the basic roadmap for a Power BI report. And now let's directly move toward the Power BI site. So here is the link from where you can download the Microsoft Power BI desktop app, or else you can also download it from the Microsoft App Store. So you can simply have to search for the Microsoft Power BI desktop, and once it's downloaded, you can search for it and you can click on open. This will open the Power BI desktop app in your desktop or in your local machine, and you will get this interface. So here we are getting the option to create a blank report. Then there are some recommended blocks or recently open file, which if you want to access. So we will move by creating a blank report. Once you click on this will be the home, you can see the interface which you get. So here on the top, you can see there are various tabs: home, insert, modeling, view. We will see each one of them. So basically, this is the Power BI desktop app. Uh, in this, we have the Power Query editor built in. To access it, that you can click on this transform data button. But before it, we will start with by importing our data. So now let's say your data resides in Excel workbook, or your data is in a text file format or in a PDF format. So you can simply click on the get data button. So here, these are some commonly used sources which are used to import the data. You can click on more. And as we have discussed, there are 180 plus data sources available to import the data. So you can see there are lots of data sources available. Wherever your data is stored, you can simply import it. Either it's on GitHub, your LinkedIn data, or it's on SharePoint, it's on web. Lots of options are available. And you can also import directly click here, or you can create a sample data by clicking on the enter data button. So from here, you can create a table. And then let's say we want to import a Excel workbook. So right now our sample data is in the Excel form. You can navigate to the folder which wherever your file has been located. You can click on it and simply click on open. Once this file is open, you will get the list of all the sheets or tables which are available within your file. So let me first share the Excel file with you. You can also get this file. Danisha will share it with you. So if you can see in our Excel file, we have various sheets which contain tables like sales territory data, sales data, reseller data, then we have date data, product data, and customer data. So when we choose that file, we have to click on whatever tables we need to import in our report. So we can select it from here, and it will also create a preview for you for your data. And there are two options. One is to load, and the second is to transform data. If you click on load, then the data will directly get loaded into your Power BI report. And if you want to transform your data, if you want to make any changes in your data, then you can click on this transform data button. So first we will make some changes in our data. If it's required, we will explore it together. So right now you can see it's determining some automatic transformation. We will see what are these. A new window will open. This is the Power Query editor, which we were talking about throughout the session. Here we can transform our data. So right now you can see this is the basic interface of Power Query editor. Again, there are various options available. So if you can see, we can create a new query, then we can change the data source setting. We can refresh our data set. Then there are some options to manage the columns. If you want to remove some columns, or if you want to choose some particular columns, or if you want to remove any rows, you can remove top rows. You can simply enter the number, whichever rows you want to remove. Then there are some other columns to transform, like a split column or change the data type. And if you also want to combine some tables, then you can use merge or append. And then there are some AI insights. So this is the transformations options available. Then in the middle, you can see the preview of your data. Right now, if you can see here below, the column profiling is based on top 1000 row. Right now, we only have 11 rows. But let's say we have a lot million data in million of rows. So this will first detect on the basis of top 1000 row. If you want to change, then you can change it to entire data set. And on the right side, you can see the applied steps options. So the control Z will not work here. To undo that things, you have to navigate it here and click on the cancel button, so that if you want to revert back to any transformation. And here you can see some steps are already been performed. So these are the steps, like this has detected the source, then navigated to the sheet, whichever we want, and automatically converted the data type for some of the columns. For, like, you can see sales territory key, it has defined it as a number. Then for region, it has determined it as a text. Now let's see any other table. Okay, so in all of the tables, the data type has been already uh, set. Now let's see how we can apply some transformation. So here, if you can see in the first row, this row is not relevant to our data set. So now let's say I want to remove this first row. So I can simply go to this home tab, and I can click on the remove rows button, and then simply I can click on this remove top rows, and only want to remove the first row. So I can click enter 1, and I will click on OK. So the first row has been removed, and you can see the step has been inserted here saying remove top rows. And here we have one more thing, advanced editor, which record all our transformation in the form of M code, which has been used for the transformation. So here you can see that all the steps we are applying directly is getting converted into the code format and getting recorded here. But Power BI provide this interactive feature so that we don't have to write any code, and we can perform our transformation directly. Now, let's say I have this name column, and we have first name and last name together in it. Now, let's say I want to split this into first name and last name. And you will notice that it contains space in between first name and last name. So I can simply click on the split column button, and then I can click on by delimiter, and it will automatically detect the delimiter whichever is contained in that column. Or you can also set custom delimiter, or some options are also available. So right now we will focus on space only, and then we will say each occurrence of the delimiter. So we can simply click on OK. So right now you can see that the name has got divided into two parts. First one is our first name, so we can rename the column. You can simply double click on it and rename that. And similarly, you can rename the other column too. So this is the way you can split columns. You can also do that for date and time columns if it's available in your data set. Then we have some column related to the location also, which we will see further in our report. Then if you see, move toward the transform tab, then it will provide you the detailed option for transforming your data set. So I have selected this column, and if I want to change the data type, so you can select it from here, but this option is also available on the column top left itself. So these are some common features which we use to transform our data. And then we have add column. Let's say if I want to add any, I want to perform any calculation. So let's see that too. So we have sales table available here. Now let's say I want to multiply any two columns randomly. Right now, let's say I want to multiply sales amount and total product cost. So I can create a custom column, and here we can enter the name for the column, and then we can enter the column names on which we want to perform the operation. So here we can select it, then we can write multiplication and then insert the second column, and then you click on OK. A new column will get created, and this will multiply both these value. In this way, you can perform various mathematical operation like plus, minus, multiplication, divide, etc. So these are some basic transformations which we can perform within my Power Query editor. There are lots of advanced features available too, which we will cover in later parts. Or right now, I want to keep this basic. So these are some basic transformation. So you can, once you are done with the transformation part, you can simply click on the close and apply button, and this will load the data in your Power BI report. So now as you can see that the loading the data process has been started, and it will automatically create some connection in your model based on the similar columns available in your data. So it will take some time, depend on the size of your data. So till now, I will cover share some other details. So there are two modes for importing the data. One is import mode, and the second one is direct query mode. What's the difference between is in the import mode, we import the data within our report, but in the direct query mode, the data resides on the source itself. We only create a live connection between the data, and then we explore the data. So right now the data has been loaded, so we can move toward the model view. We have three different views in our Power BI desktop. One is this report view where we create our report. The second one is table view in which you can explore your data. And the third one is model view. And fourth is here you can see DAX query view, but right now it's in preview. So the main three views are the report, table, and model view. So here you can see all the tables available in your report. Some relationships it has been automatically detected, and Power BI has automatically created the relationship. You can modify it by right clicking on it. You will get the option for properties, and from here you can see what the relationship has been created. So you can see that from sales table, we have created the relationship to the sales territory table, and we have used the column for sales territory. And the cardinality for the relationship is many to one. You all are familiar with this. This is like we want to create one to one or one to many, many to many, or many to one relationship. Then we can set the direction to be single or both. We want to filter the data in the single direction, or we want to in both direction. So in this way, we can create the relationship. You can also create relationship by simply dragging and dropping the column. So now let's say I want to create a relationship between this date table and my sales table. So first what I need to do is I have to find out a column which contain uh, the data into the date format. So let's say I have this due date key column. Let's suppose this contain data into date format. So what I can do to create relationship, I can simply click on the column here, drag and drop to that column, and this will create the relationship. But here the due date key is not particularly in the date format. We need to convert it into the Power Query editor. And although it will create the relationship, but it wouldn't work when we create visuals. So I'm just sharing this so that how you can create the relationship. So this is the way, by dragging and dropping, you can create relationships, or you can simply click on this manage relationship option and click on this new relationship button. And from here, you can select the table name, whichever you want to select, and the second table which you want to create. And then you can choose the uh, column, whichever is required. Let's say I will select any two random columns, and then I can click on save. This will also create a new relationship in my data model. So these are, here we have covered the transformation part and the data modeling part. Now let's move toward the data visualization part. So your data is ready. Now you need to create some measures or some calculated columns so to perform some data analysis. So let's say we have sales table and I want to get the total sales. This is the demo column. This is not needed right now. So we can simply delete it. Now let's say I want to get this total sales amount, total amount. So I can simply right click on the table and table name and click on the new measure, or on the top you can also see we are getting the option for new measure. So we can simply click on it and then you can write the text formula. You can simply have to enter the formula sum and then the column name. So first the table name will appear and then in the square bracket you can see the column names are available. So you can click on it and simply click on OK. So this will create a new measure. Let's name it to total sales. So when you drag and drop on the interface, report interface, this will show you the total sales. As you can see, it's 109.81 million. So this is the way how you can create measures. There are more than 1500 plus text formulas available for different purposes. So you can create that. And then there are various visualization options available in your report. So there are bar and column chart, line and area charts, then waterfall and funnel charts, pie chart, donut chart, map charts for if you want to share the data in according to a location. Then we have some cards and KPI visuals. So we will also see some commonly used basic charts. So these are some common charts which we used in Power BI for generally in all the reports: column chart, stacked column chart, pie chart, donut chart, and line chart. And to simply create a visual, you can select it from this pane. You can select whichever visuals you want to create. Let's say I want to create a pie chart. So I will click on it, and this will create a pie chart. We just have to enter our data. So let's say I have some category in our data, and I want to see the total sales. So I can simply drag it down and this will create the visual for us. So this is the very basic way to create a visualization. After it, we can perform the formatting according to our need. Let's say I want to change the color of this blue theme. So I can simply go to the slices option in this format pane, and then you can simply change the color according to your report theme. So this is the way how you can create the visual. So first we will see the column chart. So basically column chart and bar chart are used for comparing values across categories. Let's say if you have 10 to 15 categories and compare the sales in between them. So you can simply create column chart and you can see that in the visual format. Then we have stacked bar chart. So charts are generally used to show the part to whole relationship within the categories. So let's say I have these categories and I want to see in which region how much sales has been performed. So I can add additional uh, regions in our visuals. Then we have pie chart. So this is used to, in case we have the number of categories is less than 5, so that it can be better visualized. So this is used to show the proportion of a whole. You have also seen this in many day-to-day life. Like if you are going through newspaper, then you have seen this pie chart used in that. Sometime while watching a cricket match, they show line chart or pie chart to show the contribution of runs scored by different team members. Then we have donut chart. This is very similar to pie chart, and but it allows for showing multiple series or categories, and it also provides us extra space to add some additional information within the visual itself. And after it, we have line chart, which is used to show the trend over the period of time. So let's say you want to see the trend of your sales through various years. So you can create a line chart for that. And we also get the options to forecast our data. So you can add the line for that. You just have to enable this forecast option. And from here, you can select for how much period of time you want to forecast this, for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year. So these are the some basic visuals which we use. Once you are done with the reporting part, let's say you created an interactive report and you want to share it with the clients or with your team members. So what the we use Power BI services for it. You can find it on Google. Simply search for the Power BI service, and then you have to log in it using your school ID or business ID. So this is the interface for the Power BI service. And here you can create workspace. This is similar to the folders which we create in our desktop. And in the workspace, you can upload the reports or dataset, whichever you want to share it with your colleagues or your clients. So in this workspace, you can simply upload the files. So here you can either create a new report or simply you can upload the existing one. Let's say I have any report, so I will click on it and this will get uploaded within my workspace. And later I can share the link of it with the members. So these are some basic details about the Power BI desktop. And if you want to learn it in detail, so you can find the documentation, official documentation of Microsoft Power BI on you can have to simply search for it Microsoft Power BI documentation and you will get that all the details related to very basic things to up to the advanced level. You can find it all here topic wise and you can simply learn from it. And once you are done by learning Power BI, you can simply take the Microsoft certification, which is for particularly Power BI, Microsoft Certified Power BI Data Analyst Associate. So here you can also find a learning path. This will contain the modules. This will also contain the practicals for you to perform so that will get familiar to the Microsoft Power BI. And later, once you are done with it, you can take the practice assessment and then you can go for the Microsoft certification. And you can also earn this certification too. So this is the basic things about the Power BI. Now here is a bonus thing. Uh, you all are you all must be familiar with ChatGPT. We all are using it for our day-to-day work purpose or some basic tasks. So how we can use ChatGPT for Power BI? So I have noted down some points which you can see on the screen, which you can use for your use ChatGPT as Power BI assistance. I will not be covering this separately. I will show you a demo of creating an end-to-end report using ChatGPT. So I will share it. We just have to go to ChatGPT. You have to create a new chat and one thing I will recommend you to do is whenever you are using ChatGPT for any purpose, let's say if you want to create any blog, if you want to create any video, first ask ChatGPT to be pretend like it. Now let's say right now I'm focusing on Power BI part, so I will ask ChatGPT to pretend to be like a Power BI developer. What it will do is the output whichever ChatGPT will provide will be related to that domain only. So here I've entered the prompt as pretend to be a Power BI developer. Now we will create an end-to-end report using ChatGPT itself. I will also pretend like I don't know anything about Power BI and I don't have data set, I don't have topic on which I want to create report. So I will simply enter, I am new to Power BI, suggest some common topics on which I can create a Power BI report. Because this question comes many time when we want to create any project or when we are very confused about what should we choose. So you can simply see we get 10 topics on which we can create report. Let's select any random one. Let's say we want to create a Power BI on this human resource analytics, HR analytics report. So we will move with it. So we will say that now the next question arises how we will get the data set for it. There is so much confusion of from where to find the data. So now you don't have to go to different websites. You can simply ask ChatGPT to create a sample data set for you. So you can say create a sample data set which contain let's say 5 table. And when you enter this, This will first provide you the structure of the tables. So you can see as we are going to talk about the HR analytics. So it has created an employees table, then it has created a department table, salaries table, performance review table, and training course table. And this has also defined the relationship which we have to create and the type of relationship. So again, we don't have to do anything in the data modeling part. We can take reference from here. The sample data is also available here. Right now there is only 3 tables, but let's say I want more rows. You can enter the prompt it like this and it will create the data for your report. You can simply click on copy and paste it into Excel or in whichever format you want. So in this way, we are done with choosing the topic for our Power BI report, creating the data set. Now let's say I don't know how to import the data in Power BI. I've created it into Excel file and now I'm confused how to get the data into Power BI. So what I will do is I will simply say, so we will simply enter this prompt. So this will tell you the detailed step how you can get import the data in your Power BI desktop. We have already discussed it though, but let's say there is some source which you are not familiar with. Let's say it's on some CRM software or any other software, Salesforce or anything. So for that purpose, you can use ChatGPT to know the step by step how you can load the data. So you can see it first open the Power BI desktop, then click on Get Data button, then choose the Excel format and navigate to your Excel file. We have already did this in our practical part. So now let's say I've done with importing the data and the data is clean and the data modeling is also suggested earlier. Now I am confused what I can create in my Power BI report. So I will simply enter, suggest me few visuals which I can create in the report. So this will suggest you the type of the visual. You have to create a column chart and what is the information you have to show in the visual. Now let's say I don't want to work either on this. I don't want to research on the data set which column to use in which visual. So I don't want to do any hard work. I want to use ChatGPT for everything. So I can simply say that suggest me the column and table name along with the visuals. So this will create a response for you. So for the column chart, the visuals type is column chart. Data is the department name from the department tables. Value is count of employee ID from employees table. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about it. You can simply use ChatGPT, whatever you want to create. Now let's say you want to perform some DAX measures or some calculated columns. You want to create formulas, but you don't know which functions to use. So you can simply enter create 5 DAX functions which are relevant to the report. So this will create the functions. Again, you just have to copy paste it in your Power BI report. You don't have to do any manual work. So this has created 5 functions. If you want more, then you can enter it. So in this way, you can use ChatGPT for all the purpose, whichever you want to do in Power BI. Wherever you get stuck, you can come to ChatGPT and ask it, what is, I am stuck here, if, or let's say if you are getting any error, so you can simply enter it that resolve this error and ChatGPT will do it for you. So these are the things you can again go through it. We can use ChatGPT to create sample data set and data structure. We have seen it. You can use it to extract column name and data type from the M code. Then you can add comment and format M code. You can create DEX measures, check errors and data cleaning and transformations. And there are few points which you have to keep in mind when you are going to enter some prompt. So you have to be as clear as and specific as much as possible so that ChatGPT can understand your requirement. If possible, also add the context and the example and establish the role as we have said the pretend to be a Power BI developer. So the for specific use cases, whatever you are going to search, establish the role first, then set the tone or level of complexity. Let's say you are very beginner to Power BI. So tell the ChatGPT that I don't know anything about Power BI and so that it will suggest you in that way, easy, familiar way. And there are some limitations for ChatGPT too because it's a AI tool and there are some false information provided by ChatGPT. So you have to always cross check it when it return the solution. So that's all about the Power BI and ChatGPT part. So now let's move toward the Q&A part. If you have any doubt, so feel free to ask